Hey guys, here is your test. Time to get organized. Grace knew she needed to talk to her teacher, Mrs. Wilson. She was having trouble in class, and it was mostly because she kept forgetting things. After class, Grace waited until everyone had left and then approached Mrs. Wilson's desk. I know I did really badly on the exam today, Grace began. I could have done a whole lot better. What do you think happened? Mrs. Wilson asked. She wanted to get Grace's point of view. I think it's because I keep forgetting things. I forgot we were having an exam today, so I didn't think about studying like I usually do. That happens to me a lot because I do a lot of things. Keeping everything organized is really hard for me. What other things do you do? Mrs. Wilson wanted to know. There's school, and I take piano lessons, so I have to practice the piano every day. I also write articles for the school newspaper, and I want to have fun with my friends too. Sounds like you're busy, but that doesn't mean you can't get organized. What you need to do is manage your time better, Mrs. Wilson said. That's what my parents tell me too, Grace said with a sigh. Well, they're right, Mrs. Wilson said, and you can begin getting organized by getting a calendar. If you get a large calendar, you can write down everything you need to do. Then every day you can check your calendar to see what's on your schedule. Grace was beginning to get the idea. And I can write my assignments and tests on my calendar too, so I don't forget to study. Exactly, Mrs. Wilson said. If you know you have an exam in a week, you can begin studying a little each day. That way you'll be prepared for the exam, but you'll still have time for other things. Thanks, Mrs. Wilson, Grace smiled. I guess I should have paid attention to my parents in the first place. Number 1. After reading this text, a reader will be able to A. Explain what organization is important. B. Explain what a calendar is. C. Talk about classrooms. D. Warn students about exams and how hard they are. 2. The author most likely wrote this to A. Entertain readers so that they will want to read more. B. Inform readers on proper classroom behavior. C. Persuade readers to learn about calendars. D. Persuade readers to become organized. 3. What might happen if Grace gets a calendar? A. Grace will do badly on all her tests. B. Grace will not forget to do things. C. Grace's parents will be angry with her. D. Mrs. Wilson will get Grace a calendar. 4. If Grace studies a little every day, she will A. Forget everything. B. Be ready for the exam and still have time for other things. C. Take piano lessons and practice every day. D. Write everything on her calendar. 5. Which would best help Grace to become organized? A. A computer with a digital calendar. B. A computer for playing video games. C. Talking to Mrs. Wilson each night about homework. D. None of the above. 6. Grace is most similar to the hare in The Tortoise and the Hare because A. She knows what to do. B. She is slow but always finishes. C. She is disorganized but very quick. D. Her lack of planning causes her to do poorly. Read each item carefully. Choose the correct answer. Number 1. Which word contains the Greek root meaning word or speech? A. Elementary. B. Graphology. C. Summarize. D. Lantern. Two. Which word contains the Greek root meaning earth? A. Geopolitical. B. Lighthouse. C. Government. D. Balancing. Number 3. Which word contains the Greek root meaning circle? A. Silence. B. Unlocked. C. Astronaut. D. Cyclical. 4. Which word contains the Greek root meaning measure? A. Touchdown. B. Unimportant. C. Thermometer. D. Quarrel. 5. Read the words. Some of the words are related, but one is not. Choose the word that is not related to the others. A, cyclone. B, literature. C, flooding. D, rescue. 6. Which word contains the suffix meaning one who practices? A, numerator. B, meteorologist. C, permission. D, sheltering. 7. Which word contains the suffix meaning full of or having the qualities of? A, multiplication. B, homestead. C, mountainous. D, flameproof. 8. Which word means about the same as ambition? A, explosion. B, mention. C, contribution. D, motivation. 9. Which word means the opposite of minimum? A, newcomer. B, maximum. C, instrument. D, aluminum. 10. Which word does not have the same base as the others? A, script. B, stringy. C, inscription. D, prescription. 11. Which word contains the prefix meaning before? A, shoreline. B, improvement. C, forefront. D, messenger. 12. Which word contains the prefix meaning together? A, co-director. B, pronounce. C, snowpack. D, unclear. 13. Which word contains the prefix meaning wrong? A, spotless. B, mislead. C, addition. D, concern. 14. Which word means not legible? A, relegible. B, illegible. C, prelegible. D, legibless. 15. Which word contains the prefix meaning not? A, immovable. B, perfume. C, nickname. D, leftover. 16. Which word means not attentive? A, for attentive. B, attentious. C, inattentive. D, exatentious. 17. Which word contains the prefix meaning not? A, community. B, weakening. C, attendance. D, deodorant. 18. Which word contains the Greek root meaning life? A, underwater. B, macrobiotic. C, surrounded. D, rainforest. 19. Which word means a book you can listen to? A, book list. B, notebook. C, audiobook. D, bookish. 20. Look at this range of meaning word line. Which answer would fit best in the blank? Remember, we talked about this. One side is like an antonym, and the other was a synonym, or it could be synonym, antonym, right? Usually it's antonym and synonym, and then synonyms or antonyms in between, okay? Or antonym and antonym. Okay. Would it be, so the words are follow, trail, chase. So your choices are A, ignore. B, oppose. C, likely. D, graceful. So it would be the opposite of chase. Okay, so your next story, fireworms. The fireworm lives in the tropical waters of the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Most fireworms are 3 to 4 inches long. Some have grown as long as 14 inches. These creatures are flat. They have tufts of white bristles along their sides. These tufts look like paintbrushes, but they break easily if touched. The size and shape of the fireworm are not the only things that set it apart. Another irregular fireworm trait is that they give off light. Females use this light to attract males. The lighted female fireworms spin on the surface of the water. When the males see the light from the females, they flash their own lights. Then the males dart to the surface. They bob up and down in the water. Scientists are able to predict exactly when this entire process will take place. On dark summer nights, the water glows green as the fireworms engage in this eerie dance. Scientists believe that fireworms may also use the light to defend themselves. The light may be used to distract or mislead their predators. This is paragraph 4. Fireworms also defend themselves by flaring their bristles. This behavior keeps other creatures from getting too close. If a person touches a fireworm, the bristles will break off and stick into the person's skin. This releases poisons into the wound that make the area sore. It also can cause an uncomfortable burning sensation on the skin. It is this reaction that gives the fireworm its name. Paragraph 5. There are several ways to treat a wound from a fireworm. Covering the wound with tape helps remove the bristles. Washing the area with rubbing alcohol stops the burning sensation. 6. Fireworms would rather hide than fight. They are non-aggressive creatures. They often hide in areas covered with seagrass. There they can get lost in the undergrowth. Unless you know where to look, you may never see a fireworm. 7. Once in a while, fireworms are found on objects that float onto shore. Some fireworms have even ended up in tanks at stores that sell tropical fish. Most fireworms live in coral reefs. However, they would not live more than about 500 feet deep. Other fireworms live in the sea under stones. Some even live on mud bottoms. They eat shrimp, clams, and mussels, but their favorite food is coral. Paragraph 8. Fireworms eat both soft and hard coral. When looking at a coral reef, it is easy to tell where fireworms have been eating. They eat coral down to its skeleton. Wherever fireworms feed, the coral is left with only the white tips of its bones showing. 11. What's the main idea of paragraph 6? A. Fireworms prefer to hide from danger. B. They often hide in seagrass. C. There they disappear in the undergrowth. D. You need to know where to look to find fireworms. 12. Read the sentences from paragraph 2. The size and shape of the fireworm are not the only things that set it apart. Another irregular fireworm trait is that they give off light. In the second sentence above, irregular means F. Too colorful. G. Powerful. H. Not strange. J. Not normal. 13. Read the sentence from paragraph 3. The light may be used to distract or mislead their predators. Based on the prefix miss, what does mislead mean? A. To lead the wrong way on purpose. B. To lead something again. C. To lead against something. D. To not lead at all. 14. What is the purpose of the tape mentioned in paragraph 5? F. To protect the fireworm. G. To pull the bristles out. H. To cover the wound. J. To stop the burning. 15. Read the sentence from paragraph 4. It also causes an uncomfortable burning sensation on the skin. Based on the prefix un, what does uncomfortable mean? A. The opposite of comfortable. B. Comfortable again. C. Comfortable before. D. More than comfortable. 16. Read the sentence from paragraph 6. They are non-aggressive creatures. Based on the prefix non, what does non-aggressive mean? F. Not aggressive. G. Rarely aggressive. H. Often aggressive. J. Aggressive again. 17. Which of these states the main idea of paragraph 7? A. Fireworms have interesting habits. B. Fireworms have odd traits. C. Fireworms are hard to find. D. Fireworms live in a variety of places. 18. Read the sentences from paragraph 6. They often hide in the areas covered by seagrass. There they can get lost in the undergrowth. The word undergrowth means small plants living, F. next to larger plants, G. below larger plants, H. above larger plants, J. far from larger plants. 19. Why do most fireworms live in coral reefs? A, they cannot easily hide in coral reefs. B, their favorite animals live in coral reefs. C, their favorite food is found in coral reefs. Or D, there's little seagrass or mud in coral reefs. 20. What do male fireworms do when they see the light of female fireworms? F, they move toward the flashing and glow green. G, they move away from it and do an eerie dance. H, they hurry toward it and flash their own lights. J, they stop flashing their own lights and dance.